Hello and welcome to the channel. We profile some of the most interesting people and stories from around the world. Today's video is about the tragic case of Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit was born on May 21, 1967, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and started his wrestling career in the late 1980s, competing in Canada and Japan. He was trained by the legendary wrestler Stu Hart, who ran the famous Hart Dungeon in Calgary, Alberta. Benoit began his career wrestling for Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling promotion, where he quickly gained a reputation for his technical wrestling ability and hard-hitting style. He was eventually signed by World Championship Wrestling, WCW, in 1992, where he continued to hone his craft and become one of the company's top stars. In WCW, Benoit formed a tag team with fellow Canadian wrestler Dean Malenko, known as the Horsemen. The two quickly became fan favorites and won the WCW World Tag Team Championship on several occasions. Benoit also won the WCW United States Championship and Television Championship during his time in the company. In 2000, Benoit left WCW to join the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, which later became WWE. He made his debut on the May 31, 2000, episode of WWE's flagship show, Raw. Benoit quickly established himself as one of the top wrestlers in the company, known for his intense ring style and exceptional technical ability. Benoit's first major feud in WWE was against another Canadian wrestler, Chris Jericho. The two had a series of matches that showcased their incredible wrestling ability, including a ladder match at the 2001 Royal Rumble pay-per-view event. Benoit also feuded with Kurt Angle, another wrestler known for his technical prowess, and the two had a memorable match at the 2003 Royal Rumble. Benoit's crowning achievement in WWE came at WrestleMania XX in 2004, where he won the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of the show. Tragically, Benoit's life came to a sudden and devastating end in 2007. On June 25, 2007, Benoit was found dead in his home in Fayetteville, Georgia, along with his wife, Nancy, and their 7-year-old son, Daniel. It was later determined that Benoit had killed his wife and son before taking his own life. Before Benoit died by suicide, he did some online searches. It's reported he looked for stories about the prophet Elijah, who once raised a boy from the dead. Then, Benoit searched for the easiest way a person could break their neck. Chris Benoit's family tragedy is one of the most shocking and devastating events in the history of professional wrestling. It was later revealed that Nancy and Daniel had been killed by Benoit, who had strangled them to death. After placing Bibles next to Nancy and Daniel's bodies, Benoit went into the family's home gym. He tied a cable around his neck, attached it to the highest weight on a weight machine, and let go. The details of the murders and suicide were chilling and left the wrestling community reeling. The circumstances surrounding the tragedy were even more shocking due to the fact that Benoit had been considered a beloved figure in the wrestling world. He had a reputation for being a hard worker and a dedicated family man. However, as the details of the tragedy emerged, it became clear that Benoit had been suffering from a range of health problems, including chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a degenerative brain disease caused by repeated blows to the head. The investigation into the Benoit family tragedy was conducted by the Fayette County Sheriff's Office, which determined that the murders and suicide had occurred over a period of several days. It was also revealed that Benoit had sent text messages to friends and co-workers in the days leading up to the tragedy, suggesting that he was struggling with mental health issues. The Benoit family tragedy remains one of the darkest moments in professional wrestling history. It has led to increased scrutiny of the health and safety of wrestlers, as well as a greater emphasis on mental health support and treatment. While the legacy of Chris Benoit will always be overshadowed by the tragedy that occurred in the final days of his life, his impact on the wrestling world cannot be denied. He was a talented wrestler who inspired countless fans and fellow wrestlers alike, and his memory will always be a part of the sport he loved. The events of that tragic day shook the professional wrestling world to its core. The WWE cancelled its scheduled live events and dedicated its shows to Benoit's memory. In the aftermath of the tragedy, it was revealed that Benoit had suffered numerous concussions and head injuries throughout his career, which may have contributed to his mental state at the time of his death. Benoit's legacy in professional wrestling remains a complicated one. On one hand, he was one of the greatest wrestlers of his generation, known for his incredible skills in the ring and his ability to tell a story through his matches. On the other hand, the events of his final days cast a shadow over his accomplishments and raised important questions about the health and safety of professional wrestlers. Since Benoit's death, the WWE has implemented various policies and procedures to prioritize the health and well-being of its performers, including a strict drug testing policy and increased attention to mental health support. While his legacy may be complicated, there is no denying the impact that Chris Benoit had on professional wrestling and the memories he left behind for fans around the world. Thanks for watching.